and it sounds like it might make me cry, to be honest, which is the best Disney Channel original movie. That's not my opinion, that's just a fact. It's the best one. I feel normal about this. I think I'm completely wrong, but that's my prediction based on my most anticipated list. Hey friends, it's Sarah, and today I want to talk to you about some of the 2023 releases that I am most excited about. So I'm going to try and talk about these in order of release date rather than in order of like how excited I am for them, because it just makes more sense that way. So without further ado, the first one is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This is this author's YA debut. She's written a lot of really popular romance novels, and I tried to read one of her books, but it was like a little too explicit for me, and so I thought that her YA book might be more my speed. So this is kind of like almost looks like an Amazing Race style competition with like ex-best friends who are teaming up to survive the wilderness for a grand prize, which just seems really hilarious. It seems like a very fun kind of, not quite second chance romance because it's like ex-best friends who are kind of rekindling their friendship and then maybe more, but it should be fun and some good outdoors times, which I love. The second book that I'm really looking forward to is Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margaret Rogerson. This is like a little novella that takes place after the Sorcery of Thorns book. So this book comes out January 17th, and I think it's just supposed to be like a cute little novella with like the characters who end up in a relationship, just doing cute romancy things around the holiday times. So it just sounds very sweet. I do remember really liking Sorcery of Thorns and the romance in it, so I'm really looking forward to this one. And it also gives me a great opportunity and excuse to reread Sorcery of Thorns so I can remember what all happened. And then we can read this cute little like wintertime romance novella. So the next one is also part of a series, and that is Every Gift a Cursed by Caroline O'Donoghue. This is the third and final book in the All Our Hidden Gifts series, which is about like magic teens in Ireland, and it's really good. It's got some excellent characters, it's got some great queer rep in it as well, and I just really love this series. I didn't expect much from it when I read it. I just kind of wanted something witchy because I read it around Halloween, and it just kind of knocked my socks off. It has so much good commentary on like social issues and stuff, and a really interesting magic system as well, so I'm really looking forward to the finale to wrap it all up nicely. And that one comes out February 2nd. Then we have Heartstopper Volume 5, which I believe is also the final in this series. This is by Oseman. It's a graphic novel. If you don't know what Heartstopper is, I think you might have missed all of 2022. But it's a graphic novel series, originally a webtoon, that follows Charlie and Nick, who are two boys in school in Britain, and they fall in love with each other and all of their like trials and tribulations. It's a coming of age thing. And it's just very lovely. There are some like talks about pretty serious mental health issues, but like overall it just has such a warm, like fuzzy feeling to it. And they turn it into a Netflix series, which is amazing. And I watched it 3 times in quick succession. So I think they did an excellent job with that. They're also filming season 2, which I'm hoping comes out next year as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. But volume 5 for the graphic novel comes out February 2nd. And then that'll be it for Nick and Charlie, which is so sad, but like really happy too. I love these characters so much. They're so lovely together. Okay, up next we have Big Tree by Brian Selznick, and this comes out April 4th. Wow. I guess there's nothing in March that's coming out that I'm interested in. But Brian Selznick is a middle grade author, and he writes these books that are like part book, part kind of graphic novel illustration. And every one of his books that I've read has just been like so immersive and so magical and enchanting. I'm just constantly like amazed by his art and his writing, and they just kind of like stick with me for a while. I think he does a really good job of using the two different mediums to explore different stories or themes within his work, and he just always kind of blows my mind. I never know what to expect from his books, and they're always very thought-provoking. So this follows like 2 little seeds who are like taken away from their mother tree, and so they're kind of like journey through the world as they try and find somewhere to set down roots and like learn to live somewhere new. And it sounds like it might make me cry, to be honest. I have not been handling deep subjects very well recently, with all the world being as it is. I've wanted my books very light and fluffy and nothing too serious in them. Also my movies, anytime something even remotely bad happens in a movie, I'm like, I need a minute to collect myself. So this one definitely sounds like it might make me cry, but I'm still gonna read it. It's still gonna be fun. Up next, we have the queen herself, Emily Henry, with Happy Place, coming out April 25th. This is another adult romance from Emily Henry. She has a newsletter called Emily's Grocery List, and I read every single edition that she sends out because they're so fun. And I would read anything, including her grocery list, because it's amazing. But this follows a couple who broke up months ago, and they're going on their like annual week-long vacation with like their couple friends. So they make a pact to pretend that they're still together for the friends' sake, so it's not like super awkward. And it just sounds like it's gonna be a mess. I don't know, all of her stuff's amazing. I don't really know what to expect from this, but I'm sure it'll be fun. There's obviously another vacation element. I feel like all of her stories have vacation elements, and it just sounds really interesting, of like an ex's second chance romance maybe, and then also trying to pretend in front of the people who know you best that you're still together. Like, I think it's going to be an excellent opportunity for like lots of humor and maybe a little bit of cringiness, but I feel like Emily Henry doesn't really do cringy stuff all that much. I don't know. This woman is incredible. I'm in awe of her. Emily Henry, step on me. Next up is Warrior Girl Unleashed by Angline Boulley. So this is the author of The Firekeeper's Daughter, which I really enjoyed. And this is her sophomore book. Is that the right term? I always get confused with American high school terms. They're so weird. Why is it freshman, sophomore, junior, senior? It should be freshman, junior, sophomore, senior. Anyways, so this is her second novel, and I thought Firekeeper's Daughter was really interesting, and I thought she did a really good job of it, and I love seeing more Indigenous representation in the YA genre. So like this one, I just kind of like added to my want to read list without reading the synopsis, because I really liked Firekeeper's Daughter, and then the cover for this one is excellent as well. But this follows a girl during like her summer break, where some of her ancestors, including one called Warrior Girl, are being kept at a museum, and her tribe is trying to get them back. Basically, they've been stolen, and they want them back from the museum to be properly like buried and taken care of by their descendants. And it looks like this is also going to be like a heist book, which I'm really excited about. I love heist books. To me, this sounds like kind of a YA Indigenous portrait of a thief, if you will. So I'm really interested in that. I feel like there's been more books published recently that have gained popularity that talk about decolonization and like the ethics around museums having artifacts or like remains of people who they had conquered basically, and then kind of taken their bodies or their artifacts, and the process or the like ethics around keeping them versus returning them to their rightful homes and their descendants. So I'm really intrigued by this like theme in literature, and I love a good heist book. Anytime I see heist in like a description of a book, I'm like, oh my god. But also Six of Crows set like a super high bar, so it's tough. And it comes out May 2nd. Also, sorry if you can hear the blinds making noise. The cat has the zoomies right now and is like running along them and playing in them because she's a goof. So I'm also really excited about Meet Me at the Lake by Carley Fortune, because I read her first book, Every Summer After, this year, and it was really good. It was a beautiful like second chance romance set in Ontario cottage country, and I just fell in love with the characters. So this sounds like another like second chance romance where they had met when they were younger. They had one like day of blissful connection before their lives diverged, and now 9 years later they reconnect, and she's running her like mother's resort in Muskoka in like Ontario cottage country, and he shows up being like, let me help. And so second chance romance, cottage country, she's sticking to what she knows, and I think it should be really good. I'm excited. And this one is also a May 2nd release. So then another one that's like one of my top anticipated ones is Painted Devils by Margaret Owen. So this is a sequel to the book Little Thieves, which is a YA retelling of The Goose Girl, where we follow kind of the villain of that story. So this is due out May 16th. So like Little Thieves kind of like it wrapped up really nicely, and it like stands alone But then this one is like, if you want more of the main character Vanya, then like, here you go. And if I remember correctly, it's something about like Vanya starting a cult. So it just sounds like really great. I really love Little Thieves. It was like really funny. It had great characters. There was some like asexual representation in it, which I really appreciated. And it was really interesting, like retelling of a fairy tale. Some like kind of unreliable narrator where she's like a little morally gray, but you still like really care about her, and she's really still like likable. You just kind of watch her make bad decisions and you're like, no, don't do it. So I'm so psyched for this one. It sounds like it's just going to be so much fun again. It's got another gorgeous cover, and I'm really, really hoping that Illumicrate does another special edition, because the special edition I have for Little Thieves is so gorgeous. So this is the Illumicrate edition of Little Thieves, and it's got like this beautiful stenciled stained edge. The book, not even just the Illumicrate edition, but it's illustrated by the author, which is like incredible. She's such an amazing illustrator. And then the cover is also illustrated by the author, and it's just, it's so beautiful. And I really want Illumicrate to do another edition like this for Painted Devils. So fingers crossed for that. Okay, next is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. She's the author of the Poppy War series, which I still need to read, as well as Babel, which I did read and I thought was excellent. But this is kind of like her contemporary adult debut, if you will. So yeah, there are two authors, June, who is white, and Athena, who is Asian. And Athena dies, and June takes Athena's manuscript, edits it, and like submits it as her own work, and then adopts like an fake Asian American identity basically, and appropriates the work and the culture to profit off of it. So yeah, it's basically talking about that in the publishing industry, and I think just more broadly. I've only read one of R.F. Kuang's books, but I thought she did so good at like weaving in themes of like colonialism and racism and microaggression within Babel. Yeah, I thought it was so skillfully done, the balance of like the plot, but also like talking about these themes. It's just so good. I think she's a very good writer. I think she writes very complexly, and I am just really interested to see how her contemporary book is. And this one comes out May 25th. The next one is Girls Like Girls by Hayley Kiyoko. So Hayley Kiyoko, if you do not know, is a singer. She started off as, she's not really a Disney kid, but she was in the Disney Channel original movie Lemonade Mouth, which is the best Disney Channel original movie. That's not my opinion, that's just a fact. It's the best one. High School Musical is great. Lemonade Mouth, though, is just like a million chef's kisses. And then she went on to have a singing career, and she is also kind of known on the internet as Lesbian Jesus, because she writes songs about loving other women, because she's lesbian. And she's just incredible. I saw her live. She was so good. Would highly recommend seeing her perform. And I love her music. So now she's writing a book based on her song and music video called Girls Like Girls. Go check it out. I'll leave a link down below. It's a great song. It's a really fun music video. And I'm really excited to see what this one's about. It comes out May 30th. I've not really looked up the synopsis, because I think it's just supposed to be basically like she's taken the music video and then turned it into a novel, kind of. So, I don't know. We'll see. I also kind of want to leave it a little bit of a mystery. I'm just intrigued. I don't know. Either way, I'll read it. It'll be fun. It'll be a good sapphic YA contemporary book, and that's what I want. That's what I'm here for. Okay, up next is Business or Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon, and this comes out June 20th. This is an adult romance. So last year, in 2021, I got to be part of Indigo's like staff pick of the month committee for October and November, and we were reading, like would read 3 or 4 different arcs, and then we would vote on which one we thought should be the staff pick for the designated month. And when we were doing this, we read Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon, because the woman in charge of the like staff pick committee for the YA genre really loved Rachel Lynn Solomon. I was like, guys, just like read it. And ever since then, I have been a Rachel Lynn Solomon stan. I haven't read her older books. I think she's got a couple older ones, but everything from like Today, Tonight, Tomorrow onwards, I've read, and they just get better and better. Like her most recent adult romance, Weather Girl, I just loved, was so good. So I'm really excited for Business or Pleasure. She said it's her like steamiest one yet. So we'll see how that is for me, because I'm not a fan of like a ton of like steamy scenes in books. And it is like a little more, like the premise is kind of sexier than any of her other ones, but I will read anything she writes because I think she is so good. Her YA books are also excellent. She just has this incredible ability to write both like teens and like adults, and she's great. I love her. She also always has like excellent Jewish representation in her books because she herself is Jewish, so I really appreciate that as well. Okay, so this follows a ghostwriter and a struggling actor, and they end up having a one-night stand that did not go so well without realizing who the other was. So basically, they find out that she's going to be ghostwriting his book, and she's like, oh, this is so awkward, and so she tells him like, you know, that hookup wasn't great for me, and he's like, oh my god, I can't please a woman. So they strike up a deal that in between working on his book, they will also work on him being good in bed, I guess. So I think it sounds pretty funny, some opportunity for cringe, and I guess like a fair amount of steaminess, but I don't know. We'll give it a shot. I trust Rachel Lynn Solomon. Okay, up next is I think my most highly anticipated book, and that is Heavenly Tyrant by Xiran J. Zhao. My love. I don't know them at all, but they're Canadian, they're around my age, and I've just loved every book they put out, which has only been 2 so far, but they're incredible. They're so funny. Their YouTube videos are informative and hilarious. They always have incredible like replica outfits from like ancient Chinese looks, and just they're so cool. Anyways, Heavenly Tyrant is the sequel to Iron Widow, which was like my top book of whenever it came out. Was that 2020? I feel like I don't know what years are anymore. But that was like my top book, and I still love it. It's so good. I read it 2 or 3 times. I'm not going to give a synopsis for this. It's a teen fantasy sci-fi, and Iron Widow was like kind of Pacific Rim-y, where they had these big mecha creatures who like, there's 2 of them who go in and they fight, and usually it's a man and a woman, and then the man drains like the woman's life force. And it's like incredibly feminist and just like kick-ass, and the main character is such a badass. Oh, it's so good. And so I'm really excited for the second one because the first one left off on this giant cliffhanger, and I just can't wait for this one. Unfortunately, I have to wait a long time because it comes out August 29th, so I will just cry until then. But the cover is again stunning. It's just amazing. The covers are so beautiful. I every now and then think about buying just like a print of the cover to like hang on my wall. They're that pretty. Anyways, pre-order this one. I have it pre-ordered for 8 months out, but that's okay. It's fine. I'm fine. So this is definitely my most anticipated book. And I just try not to think about it too much because I don't want to be thinking about it for 8 months, because that just sounds like torture. So every now and then I think about it, I think of the cover, and I'm like, oh, beautiful, but time to like put this away in the back of my mind so I don't just spend 8 months being like, I want to read this book. I feel normal about this. Yeah, that this is a normal way to react to books. Okay, moving on is Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. This is the 3rd book in this series. It's like the things where romance books do, where they're not actually like sequels, but they're like kind of companion books, so that they like talk about like another character that was in one of the other books. So this is like a sapphic adult romance that starts off as a one-night stand and ends up with fake dating, and then obviously they fall in love because it's a romance. But this sounds really fun. Interesting that this is a second like one-night stand gone wrong book on my list. I guess 2023 is going to be, this is my prediction, 2023 is going to be the year of one night stand gone wrong books, or the following year will be because of the success of books that have had that trope in 2023. I think I'm completely wrong, but that's my prediction based on my most anticipated list. I don't know. This comes out November 7th, so like end of the year. It's still going to be a while because the second one just came out in November. But there's a release date for it, there's a title, and there is a synopsis, so it made it on the list. That was it. That's the last one. There are a ton of books to look forward to in 2023. When I was making my list, I was like, man, I haven't really like heard about a ton of books coming out yet. Or like I've seen posts where they talk about books coming out, but I'm like, it's too early to be thinking about that in like September or October. So I've kind of put back my mind. But there's a lot of books from like authors that I previously loved, or sequels or companion novels in series that I really loved. So I'm I think 2023 is going to be a great year. I'm really excited about all these books, and now I'm just sad that they aren't out yet so I can read them, because going through this list has made me super pumped, but I still have to wait. Anyways, those are all the books that I'm super excited about, and if you have any that you're really pumped about, let me know, or maybe some of them made it onto my list. Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to chat and learn about more books that I can add to my already overstuffed bookshelves. But thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. So then I have Warrior. Could you have your zoomies a little bit later, please? Next is Girls Like Girls by Hayley Kiyoko. What the heck is that?